Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. This is the Select Board meeting on October 1st, 2024, and for the town of Lee. And pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, I'm hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of this meeting. So if you object to being videoed or audioed, I would suggest you leave the room. Otherwise, we're going forward. All right, our first order of business is the approval of the open session minutes from September 17th, 2024. Challenge to...
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the minutes from Tuesday, September 17th, 2024.
All right, do we have a second?
I will second that.
All right, no adjustments necessary, then I would call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so it's unanimous. All right, thank you. Second order of business is public comment. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak? Why don't you come up and announce who you are, and we'll listen to what you have to say.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
all. I just have two things for this evening. The one is that Lee's open space and recreation plan was approved by the state. This allows the town to be eligible to apply for DCS grants. If we receive a grant, it means that the state will pay 55% of the needed funds, and the town would pay the remaining 45%. So this is fabulous. And if you don't mind, I'd like to give the chair
Sure.
a copy of the letter we received.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We'll put that in our records.
And then the second thing, the Lee's Founders Weekend was a huge success. I have no idea how Kathy DeBarons, the director of the Chamber of Commerce, is going to top that. No clue. The activities at the athletic field were outstanding. There are so many organizations to thank. The Ninja Fitness people, Kiwanis, Chamber of Commerce, Pittsfield Copsicle Truck, manned by Officer Rusa, everyone involved in the skateboard competition, the Lee Youth Commission, etc., etc., etc. A huge thank you to everyone, the vendors, the different organizations, and especially the children. It has made it such a great adventure. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, any other public comment before we move on? Online? Anybody? Nope.
Good.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, then if we move forward, we have an LYA update. Come right up and let everybody know who you are and what you're doing.
Good evening. My name is Ali Xavier, and I am president of the Lee Youth Association. And I'm here on behalf of the board and our staff. And we're here to look for a piece of land, town-owned land. The last meeting we had, you gave us permission to go ahead and take a look. We found a piece. We find it very appealing to what our needs are. It is up on the Maple Street ball field. Mm-hmm. So if you face the ball field, it's to the left. It's a cleared out section there. I guess at one time the high school was going to use it for a practice baseball field, and they are not using it. And with permission from Greg Briganti and the facilities committee, there was a meeting, and he gave us permission to go ahead and use it. They are not using it for anything. So we're here to ask you good folks at the select board if you would be willing to donate it. Moving forward, I know I'm going to need permission for that. For our first phase, we want to be able to put a building up there because we're in a time crunch. Mm-hmm. And this will be used for the Lee Youth Association classrooms. Second phase would consist of, hopefully, God willing, a basketball court, and maybe a ball field or a practice field for the community of some sort. So we are looking to move forward with this. We have a good friend, Steve Mack, here from Foresight Engineering. He's very familiar with the parcel. He's looked into it in the past, and he's gracious enough to be with us tonight, as well as Greg Brigetti, and we thank him for being here, and some of our staff from the Ring Youth Association and our board. So before I give it over to Greg to discuss what our future plans are there any questions on your behalf?
Not so far. For me, I'm sure there will be, but for right now, it'd be interesting to hear what you have to say. Sharon, you have something? Yeah.
I don't have any more than these notes, but I just wanted to introduce some of the people that are here. Of course, I know that Ali said that we have our board of directors and staff members. We also, and as he said, we have Frank Brigetti here. So the newly formed facilities committee at the Lee Middle and High School, we attended that, as Ali said, and they took a vote and voted to support us using that. So Greg is here representing the school to show the school supports us. And then we have board member Sandy Digner, who I think is here before.
Yep.
May all remember. And Toby Simoni is also here from our board of directors. And some of our staff here representing our staff and showing that we have the staff support. Sharon Dolby Capeless is our center director for 50D. Jess Droll is our new behavioral management person. We have an entire room for behavioral management, transition, that type of thing. And we're one of the only ones that has that as far as a early child care center is concerned. And we have Baron Cook, who is also one of our staff, who she'd steer, represent, to show the support for you still. Ian Agerolo, who has been in many of our programs before, so she's only one of thousands of kids that, that have gone through our program. So I also just want to announce that we do have an open house at our present location for anyone that's interested and would like to come and see the programs that we offer that would help you see what it is that we would be looking to relocate, and that is October 21st, 5:30 at our location 480 Pleasant Street in Lee. And Chris actually did come at one point and toured, and the kids won't be there at the open house time, but when he came to tour, kids were there. So I think he was impressed with that program.
Yeah.
So anyways, we turn it over to
great.
Steve Matthews.
Yeah.
We've been working with some.
Hi. Good evening.
Well, Steve, can you do what do you say, point that right at the camera? So just for CTSB so they can get a good shot of that.
I have some 11 by 17 copies.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, we can take those. Thank you. See what you're up to. Thank you.
So, like Liz said, this is an existing site, Maple Street. And on this plan, this is Maple Street 2 years. On the plan, the existing baseball field is located right here. This site, we delineated previously for a different project for the fields that were proposed a few years ago. We've delineated the wetlands on this plan. And then there was some work done, which was clearing, and it actually really lays out quite nicely for this project, but we have the limits of the clearing that were done previously shown on this plan, which are just about what we are proposing for this current project. So essentially it's using that clearing to do this project, but creating a new curb cut to the west of, there's two curb cuts here that are used to access the ball field for parking to the east, and putting a new curb cut in, which could also be used for overflow parking, which we talked about with Greg and his crew for the baseball field, so it could do the parking next for two purposes. And then construction of the new facility, which is about 12,000 square feet in its current configuration, which is around here. The blue on the left-hand side of the page is the gymnasium. was discussed. The gymnasium would be about 6,150 square feet. And then the purple, apologize, I couldn't match all the purples, is outdoor playground space and play space, which is adjacent to the classroom. We have about 54 parking spaces here. I think the association thought they needed around 50 spaces. So what you see is 54 with a drop-off circle right in the front. And there is still, this is the concept plan, obviously, still trying to decide what to do with sewer. There's sewer located on Maple Street, right at the crest of the hill to the west. So need to do a little economics to see on-site connect to Charleston Payne and whatever, and what makes the most sense. And water is located within the road. So yeah, it's a level site. It's actually a really nice site for a project like this. There's not a lot of topography, retaining walls, stuff like that. Looking good. And we want to need permits from the Conservation Commission for work in the buffer zone, but no wetland disturbance would need to be done. And council, that's a brief overview if there are questions. Okay.
Joan, any questions you want to ask? Oh, shit.
And I don't know if you said this already, Steve, but the parking, did you say that would be shared by, okay, for use for the baseball field? Because we don't need 50, ourselves, but they would share that. So the other thing I wanted to do was just saying, Cheryl Moore is also here. She's one of our teachers that I didn't use her before. So she's also here, to show the support teacher. Be a many more about these are what's hang. So,
Okay.
the last rate question was 79 gaps, please.
Is this its own separate lot currently?
It's a question, we've actually talked about that, what type of ownership this would be. If it would be we could create a separate lot, or should be a lease area. I'm not sure,
What's
to be discussed.
What's the area? Do you have an acreage of the footprint to this roughly?
Well, the building is 12,000 square feet. When I struck off the parcel, which could encompass this, it was about 3 acres.
Yep.
Under this, we could make it slightly smaller, slightly larger. So we always sit there. Yeah, 3 to 5 acres is what we've been talking about if we were to draw a new parcel line.
Okay. And Steve, the sewer does not go all the way there, right?
It does. No, the sewer is on Maple Street to the west at the crest of the hill.
Did you say the water does go by or does not?
That's what they said at the
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done the research.
Very good.
But that's
Is there sewer on East Street? I mean, that far down? Do we know?
talking to the DPW.
That's a long ways.
Yeah, that would be closer to go the other way because I think it ends somewhere near the cemetery.
It does. Yeah. So we could probably, the property continues, so we could probably running, up the drive line through the woods here, even if we bored out, direct board in the woods with Frank.
You weren't planning to go from the school side of it then?
No, that's for me. Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you.
No?
Shel?
Very interesting.
Okay, well, I have a couple. One was about process, number one. In other words, we'll need to check with Jeremiah too to see about process, because we've been told before, and it may go back to whether it's a rental or purchase. I don't know what the facility, school facility folks had talked about, whether this is an outright purchase, or if it in fact was a long-term lease issue. Was that ever discussed, and is it under the school committees? Yes, yeah. Was it purchase or sale? What? If you want to speak, can you come up just so they can hear you at home? Thank you very much.
There's a lot of bit of unclarity as to what the school's oversight of that property beyond just the ball fields is.
Yes.
Nobody at the school is sure if the school's oversight goes all the way down or whether that remains with the town. I mean, it's all one and the same to some extent, but we're not sure how much of that property was ever I mean, deeded is the right word in this case, but turned over to the schools for our use. So that is an open question. We're not sure. Even when that occurred, I know there was a plan back in the 70s to build a middle school up there that obviously never happened, and then put the ball fields there. And so, so we're not sure as to if the town ever totally turned that property over to the school department like the rest of the land, the schools or not.
Because I think Chris will know more about the purchasing portion of this long-term rental or whatever, but there's probably going to have to be a process to go through at this point. Of like an RFP, we may have to put out a request for proposals for a daycare, and then if you guys are the only ones that come back with a proposal, that's great. But it's a matter of being open to the public, and maybe you can explain it better than I can. The procurement laws better than I do with specificity.
Whether it's the school or the town, the 30-day procurement laws would apply. And so we just have to do some research to see the best way to go about that.
Right.
Because since it's kind of a town entity, but it's really not. It's a separate organization. We have to do certain bids and procurement to make this happen. So I think, will you be open to a long-term, like 100-year lease or something like that, if that's the easier way to go? That might be the easier.
Yeah, it might shorten the possibilities of the way we have to handle things, but that's what we need to check with Jeremiah. So certainly not saying no, we're not interested, or that yes, you got it, but we have to find out our procedures and go forward from there. At this moment, I don't have any objections to going forward and looking into all of this to see how can we move forward, but we can't step on our own toes either.
Would you have a timeline on it and process and system?
Well, likely would have to go to town meeting. It should be, unless we call a special town meeting for this, would be May.
I think first and foremost, we need to talk to the town's attorney about process. And what's the process if it's a purchase? What's the process if it's a long-term lease? And then, that way we can develop a timeline that we can share with you and be accurate about.
So next town meeting's May?
The regular town meeting. And then we can call for special town meetings if we can get through the rest of the process. Hopefully it doesn't have to go before the legislature, because that would, we wouldn't want that to happen. Yeah. But again, we're just laying out, these are some of the steps we may have to go through. Right now, we need to just check with the town's attorney on the procurement and how we go forward timeline-wise. I know that you guys are in a bind. I also went through, Sharon was kind enough to walk me through a couple of years ago. And I can't remember, Sandy, if you were there. I can't remember. Anyway, I know I went through with somebody, with people. And so I realized what a bind you're in your situation. So I know from the board's position, I think we're more than willing to look into this and find the quickest, easiest way forward to be able to see if we can do this, Again, because I had this, one of my questions was, is this something the school does and proposes to the town? Or is this something our board does and proposes to that? I don't know yet, because I don't know who has control of that property. I think eventually it would be this board, but I think we need to just double check on that to make sure we're going down the right road. Okay? Once we check with town council, I think we'll be in a much better position to be able to discuss timelines and what our process is and all that kind of stuff to keep things. But if we keep it on our agenda for 2 weeks from now, then hopefully we'll have some answer back. And that would still be in October and give us a way forward.
Why shit?
No problem. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else from you folks that you want us to know about? Or I'm sure we'll be hearing from people with phone calls to our houses to talk about the issue. Almost guaranteed. But yeah, and then we'll bring them all back together and we'll talk about it.
I was going to say, I'll just working on trying to find the answers to this. In the meantime, if I have questions, should I contact you?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
At any time, what I can answer if any questions to,
Sure.
help you help us all move it along.
Sure.
We have 4 years this past June
Yeah.
or our leases.
Yeah.
So way to the time we would, we're regularly scheduled one that would bring us 3 years. So
Right.
anything that we can, move along a little bit quicker, would be very much appreciated.
Have you developed any kind of capital program yet at all as far as subcommittees or looking into?
We started
That, okay.
We have started. We've met with some people. We can't really. There are some state funds as well that we can't really apply for.
Right.
Like a starting point. So our starting point being land or building, that we would renovate. We've looked into that a lot, and other piece of property, and so far nothing has, nothing looks like it would work for us except for this land. So, but before we can apply for funding from the state, we need to, or anywhere else, start, a capital campaign. We need to have a starting point, and the starting point would be that, with a piece of land.
Yeah.
Then we would, further these plans and further go into it as boards to, to start capital campaigns. So,
Okay.
just like our number one, like our place to start.
Right. I understand. All right.
But yes,
Thank you.
request with this.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I just have a couple other thoughts. And maybe you already mentioned like phasing this a little bit. Is that kind of part of your thought? Is it like, could it be possible to start with the building and add the gymnasium later? Is that sort of the idea?
Everything but the gym would be phase one.
Right.
And then, once all of that was solidified, phase two would be the gym, but it's part of the drawing just so we can see,
Yeah.
where it would fit, and so that you can get the parking. As Steve put the parking around that, so it would be, that would be a future plan. But the idea of the gym is that it would be for regulation size gym.
Yeah.
We don't have, the high school has, but obviously the school uses the gym at the same time that we would not.
Right.
Just
Right.
basketball season mostly, but they've been very good about letting us use it for some of our tournaments. So this would be a regulation size gym that I think would help the town and help the school as well.
Because,
So we can all use that.
well, I'm sure if we end up in a long-term rental agreement, we're going to put some strings attached to it from the town side. We'll see how that works out. Anyway, what's that? Yeah, there you go. From you to us, you mean? Anyway, all right. Well, thank you very much. Unless there's more you have to say. I mean, I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, not at all. Yeah, I was going to say we did as a board discuss those most
Yeah. Okay.
to have a long-term rental. The board has looked at, top out both folks. So
Okay.
give it to us so matter.
Well, we'll look into it and see.
What whatever works for your town. So
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Right. Thanks.
God? That's sweetie full.
Chris, can you make sure that this goes to Sabrina? Thanks. It doesn't have to be this minute. Yeah. See you later, Steve. Yep. Bye, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Is something we said?
Yeah. It is. And now we're almost alone. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else on? Nobody has a question there. Okay. Very good. All right. So we're on to our second agenda item. This is something that we've done before. It's to sign a discharge of housing rehabilitation lien. So you can probably explain this faster than I can, but you know about these because we've done this before.
Yeah, we have. I mean, we don't do them anymore, but these were liens that were done
Before, yes,
years
right,
ago.
they're left over.
right. Yeah, and they come up
Okay.
from time to time through the assessor's office. So usually with a sale.
Okay. So it's to, I have to be a little, go to the town of Lee. Okay, it was a regional housing. Well, I'm just looking at the addresses in Cheshire, so I just wondered why it was in front of us. But
Yeah, so we even go
was a regional
now for rehab is with another town. So
Right. Okay. Anyway, basically, someone had gotten some money from us through a program we ran, and based on a certain number of, they have to hold it for a certain amount of years and the payback issues, and it's all done. So we need to release the lien out of the registry, I believe. So if you've read it all, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I move we sign the discharge and housing rehabilitation lien for 28 Mill Hill Road, Cheshire, Mass.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All right. Any questions from the public or online? All right. Seeing none, ask for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So it's unanimous. Okay. Next, we have a request for a change of hours for Locker Room Sports Bar. And we have a letter here. I'm writing to petition the board for a formal change of hours for One Eye Cat Enterprises, doing business as the Locker Room Sports Bar and Pub, Sports Bar Pub. Our current operations are 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. We'd like to change this to 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. to accommodate a potential to serve breakfast. I hope that you will approve this request, and if you have any questions, please reach out. And I see that we have the applicant online. How you doing? Hi, Rick Methy. I'm well, thank you. And would you like to explain your rationale, and kind of we'll go from there?
Yeah, I could have summed it up in a little bit.
Yes.
Or the opportunity so doing breakfast.
Yep.
In just the other opportunities. And we also, with at the weekends, there's each year out the NFL, they have games in Europe, so they start earlier.
Okay.
We're getting breakfast for that as well. But since we were submitting this, we did bond with ourselves because we have got brunch in the past for special events. Easter, there's Father's Day, it's Black Friday, so watch it. We're looking 7 days a week, and the opportunity that is another means to extend our business.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? I've got a few, but I'll let you go first.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I don't have any.
All right, just a quick question. With this comes a change of hours notification to the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission. And I was just looking at your form, and I'm trying to find where on this form it actually says to go from 10 to 1 to 8 to 1. So, and also there's votes to authorize this that are supposed to be signed off on the back, I believe. And ours are blank. So do we have the signed off forms from you guys that just aren't in front of us? Do you know?
You do have the right.
You have the right things with the signs? Okay. I'm checking with Serena.
Yep.
Where it's signed at the bottom.
Only the one signed at the bottom, but not the vote to authorize and the voted to appoint. Do we need those?
But no, because it
Okay, so it's just time, but then I don't see anything here with the change in time. Where?
Change of hours has got.
that I send to the ABC.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be on this. Okay, very good. Well, just notice it did say change of hours, but I didn't see where the hours were. So that's on a different piece of paper.
Yep.
Something.
The cover letter I have to spell.
All right, and will this document going to the ABCC, will that be signed by the chair or by the entire committee? Board?
It's approved by the entire.
Okay,
And they do not have to wait for ABCC approval for a change.
okay, very good.
So
Right. I mean, that's really, it was just paperwork questions I had, and just want to make sure we have the right things. I don't find this to be problematic in any way. In fact, it's probably great to have another place open for breakfast. I know that the town does pretty well as I drive up and down in the morning. And anybody who is open seems to be busy. So I always lament the fact that so many are closed on Monday, but that's just life. Anyway, does anybody else have anything? No? Chuck? Any more? Well, then I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we approve the application for a change in the hours by the One-Eyed Cat Enterprises doing business as the Locker Sports Pub.
All right, do we have a second?
Second that.
We have a second. All right, any last minute comments from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So it is unanimous, and good luck with the change.
Great. Thank you all so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a great.
You also. Okay, we are on. We are on to 3D, which is common victualler license for JRK Pizza LLC, DBA Domino's Pizza. I was wondering when they were going to come in front of us. So this is good. So we have an application from Domino's Pizza. So let's see. There's no one here online to speak to this. Okay, I was just checking to see if they're online. All right, it's just a single sheet here. Do we have a sign off from us? I see this, but I don't see a place for us to sign. Is it two-sided, just not copied?
It'll just be the license they get.
Okay. All right. Very good. You'll have our stamp. All right. Well, there's nobody here to answer questions if you do have one, but I don't have a problem with this. It's ours. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, they also were supposed to mail a check. Like,
I was going to ask.
Well, then we'll, sure. So we can make if we're going to approve this, would make it contingent on the receipt of the fee. What they have is hours of operation is from Sunday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to midnight, 12 a.m. And then Friday and Saturday from 10 a.m. until 1 a.m. The following evening. So, and this is at 50 West Center Street in Lee. I remember way back when it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think originally. Anyway, so what's your pleasure, gentlemen?
I guess I just have one question about this,
Sure.
about the hours, and that is this going to set a precedent for other businesses who want to stay open until 1 a.m.? I mean, this location, I don't see a problem at all. Is it going to set a precedent for other businesses that?
It's a good question.
Yeah, the Lockers, we just did their change hours. They're open till 1 a.m. right across, sort of kitty corner across the street.
Yep.
I think there are places that go as long as 2. I think 2 is the limit.
Right, yeah.
Well, the Alcohol Commission doesn't let it go beyond certainly.
We have some here that go 1 or 2 establishments. Down they can go 2.
Great.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
No, in that case, I'll make a motion that we approve the common victualler license for JRK Pizza LLC, doing business as Domino's Pizza.
Would you make that conditional on receiving the
Yes,
fee?
conditional upon receiving the fee for the applicant.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Right, so we have a motion and we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's unanimous. All right. Thank you. All right. Our next order of business is the appointment of election workers, and we do have a last minute to add to this. We do have a person listed on our agenda posting. If anybody's looked at it, it's the appointment of election worker Kathy DeVarens, well known around town, and that'd be great. We had also a last minute request to appoint also Lillian Reynolds as an election worker. It wasn't on our posted agenda because it came in after our agenda was posted. So what's your pleasure?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we appoint Kathy DeVarens and Lillian Reynolds to as election workers.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right. And do we have any public comments or thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that is unanimous. All right, next we have the approval of the official warrant for the state election. It's here. I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at it. I have. There's a number of ballot questions, so people should familiarize with those. I know we got one in the mail, a description from the Secretary of State. I assume every registered voter must have gotten one. But there's a number of very interesting proposed initiative petitions, so people should read up on those before they go. I didn't see anything controversial on here. It looks pretty straightforward. What's your pleasure, folks?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve and sign the 2024 state warrant.
Second. All right. All right. Any comments from the public that's here? No? All right. Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Great. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, so
Yes.
just as a clarification, even though we call it a state warrant, it is for the presidential election.
Right. Right.
You will get confused, but we're actually electing our electorates or the electoral college. I don't consider it state, but it is president.
And to further that, what we just signed will be for voting on Tuesday, the 5th day of November, 2024. And it will be at what we call 21 Crossway Village in the Crossway Gymnasium from 7 a.m. in the morning until 8 p.m. And Chris is right. It's for president, vice president, senator, representative to Congress, counselor, senator in the general court for Berkshire, Hampden, Franklin, and Hampshire County, representative to the general court, clerk of courts, and registrar of deeds. And then the four ballot initiatives. So that's, so let's see here. We did that and we voted, according to my note to myself. All right, good. All right, next we have to weigh in on approval of early vote-in-person dates. All right, we have in front of us from Rachel Armstrong, our town clerk. As the chief election officer for the town of Lee, I'm recommending that the hours and dates for early voting in person for a 2024 state election on November 5th be as follows. And there's a list here you'll be able to read on our website, and it'll be, I'm sure it'll be posted in the clerk's office also. And it denotes the last day to register will be Saturday, October 26th, and the office will be open from 9 to 5 on that Saturday, and that is the last day you can register to be able to vote in November. I think that's pretty much all we really need to say here. Anyway, so would anyone like to approve the early vote in-person dates based on the Lee Town Clerk's recommendations?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve the early vote in person dates as recommended by the town clerk.
All right. We have a second?
I will second that.
All right. We have a second. Very good. Any comments or questions? Yeah, can you come up, though, please? I know. You're no stranger to the mic, so come on up.
I'm so thankful.
Yes, I know that.
You had the dates?
Yes. Well, I was hoping that people would just go look at it, but okay. It's 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks. It's Saturday, October 19th, Monday the 21st, Tuesday the 22nd, Wednesday the 23rd, Thursday the 24th.
We're going too fast.
Oh, we'll give you a copy, but it will be posted on the clerk's one. In fact, if you want, I can give you this. Why don't you give her that? There you go.
For anyone who doesn't think they'll be able to make November 5th, there are plenty of options to vote.
Yes, we do. 2 weeks worth.
Minus the Sundays. There'll be hours each of those days.
Right.
And we try to alternate some mornings, some afternoons.
Right. All right. Thank you.
Which will be at the town hall.
Do we write?
He will be right in this room in the courthouse. Okay? Where they have been for years and years. We'll do our in-person early voting right here in this room. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
And there's also an option to mail in, right, for this?
That is still there. Yep. And those usually came out. Go ahead.
I spoke with Rachel this morning, and she said, please discourage people from voting by mail, because sometimes it comes in later than it needs to be.
Right.
So just a caution that if you can come in and vote, it would be great.
I think if you're going to mail it in, you should at least allow a full week for the mail, because sometimes it leaves Lee and goes to Springfield and then to Hartford and then back. It takes quite a circuitous route to get to our town hall. We also have one thing that is not on the agenda right now because,
Vote on this. Yeah. Sabrina, did we vote to approve this?
Yep.
I wrote down a V that we voted. We had a motion second. Thank you. Nope. Thank you. All right, then I will call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Trey, you threw me off because the public actually had something to say. No, that's all good. It's all good. Thank you very much. So as far as topics that I could not reasonably anticipate, one is we had a very last-minute application for Berkshire Gas Company. I think you all have your copies.
Okay.
It's gas service tie-over for 60 Housatonic, working in front of the property. And it has been reviewed and signed off by the DPW and by our police department. Looks like the chief has signed it. So it's up to us. We have a schematic here. All right, inserted into a half inch. Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, they're actually crossing the road. It's too bad to have to open that street up, but it's been more than 5 years since it was redone, so I suppose that's that. All right, so what's your pleasure, folks?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the application and convert the gas for gas service tie-over with 60 Housatonic Street.
And then will you allow the board to sign, the chair to sign?
And to allow the chair to sign.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, any public? We have a motion. This time we do have a motion and a second, and I will call for a vote this time. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that is unanimous. At this moment in time, I don't have anything else that I couldn't reasonably anticipate, but how about you gentlemen?
No, I have nothing.
Shot? Nothing? All right, well, in that case, I will turn the meeting over for the town administrator report.
All right, thank you. So I did want to let the board know that our request has been submitted to the EPA, which is part of our DEP tag grant this year, and that will hopefully be approved in the next month or so by EPA. That's allowing our independent testing during the Rest of River project to be recognized by Environmental Protection Agency. Also, the reuse committee for Central Fire Station started last week, had their first meeting, and we'll look forward to continued meetings over the next probably couple of years as the public safety building is constructed. Which is my last report, which is that our OPM is hired. We have a contract signed, and we're hoping, I do have to share with the board actually the timeline that we just received. So
Was that by email just within the last day or two?
within the last few hours.
Of course, yeah. I was kidding. Maybe got adjusted.
Off the press.
I looked at one earlier, and so, okay, very good.
The highlights of it are that we are wrapping up designer selection right now, and we hope to actually start hazardous materials and geotechnical borings this November, with right now a final completion date of March of 2027.
Okay.
And everything in between it's on here. So
Very good. Nope, this looks like the one I looked at earlier. All right, great, thank you. Right. Is it anything else?
that is all I have.
All right. I just thought I'll bring up the location later, but I did notice I had an idea about possibly where we could move the the food pantry.
Oh, I think we have that. taken
Okay,
care of.
great, because there was a place I was thinking of in town that's vacant that might be available to us.
Thinking the same.
That could be, and I'll check with you later rather than say it publicly. How's that? 'Cause I won't say it out loud. All right, great. Thank you very much. But before I forgot about it, at least now you'll remember.
Right,
I
yeah.
tell you. So, okay, very good. All right, anything else? Just anything else from you?
Oh, actually, I did forget one thing, and I had a big picture here.
Oh, yeah.
Our new lights should be downtown lights. The poles have all been refurbished. The new light fixtures should be going. They've been received now. They should start being installed within the next few days, hopefully. So, if
And
anyone sees work on Main Street, that's what we'll be doing. And so,
And is this give us eventually the capabilities to do Wi-Fi, or is that additional things that have to be added?
Wi-Fi will be happening this fall too. So
Okay.
we met with the contractor for that, for locations, and we should have public Wi-Fi going from the park to the library. Will be covered by this winter.
Okay.
And hopefully that's the plan. So yeah, lights
Any-
start going.
Anything now that'll give us control of the lights. Is that correct?
Correct. Control and lights, Wi-Fi, audio capabilities, additional expansion for some of them if we needed to add any kind of sensors.
Okay,
Weather
great.
related or sound or
Great.
we're not doing any of those now except for the Wi-Fi. There will be sound capability on the south end of Main Street.
Okay.
Also those, and that's all funded through a rural grant that we received.
Very good.
There will be an ongoing fee that will appear in this year, the FY26 budget, to cover the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Doing thoughts. So
Right.
but
And that, I assume, has to go through Spectrum at this point, or no? Not
I think
necessarily.
that, yeah, well, there's really, the short answer is yes.
Okay.
But it is the best service we can get for the cheapest price.
Okay. Well, that's good. So we looked into it. Someone was bound to ask.
It's a fiber.
Sure. Okay.
With 200 megabits per second up and down speeds, which is which should allow, from what I'm told, quite a few people to use the network. But in like a worst case scenario, if we had, you would start to notice it slow down if you had 50 people streaming video at the same time.
Okay. Very
You
fair.
know, so
Are we going to have room for the town of Lennox on our main street? It'll all be coming down.
Maybe. Oh boy.
Yeah, don't try to use it during the Taste of the League.
that may be challenging. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if you could have 500 people checking email and you wouldn't notice anything. You know, it all depends on what you're.
Yeah. The data.
Yeah, how much?
The data.
No.
Both. Anything else then? No.
Okay.
All right. Liz, you're set? Good. All right. Then I will announce that our next meeting will be right here in this room, October 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right. Do I second?
Second it?
Okay. And I will call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. We are adjourned.